To be able to create the equipment on weapons and shields and shoulders and helms on the main character, we need to make sure they all have the same scale so that they all fit, and the shield or the sword is not too big or too small for the character. So in order to do that, we need to take a look at the scaling, and let's take the main character and drop it in the scene and scale everything to the main character. So I'm going to click on man_1 and take the man_1 model and just drag and drop it in the scene. Now I can just double click on it and that will zoom in. Now it's already at a good spot, so even though the position is 0, 0, 0, it's done in a way that it would go straight inside of the world. Now if you click on game, you should have, just like me, the character on the opposite side, and that's totally fine. If not, you can always change the camera position to fit these. So just pause the video and write these just in case you don't have the same as mine, or play with it so that you have the exact same taste as what you would like to have. Having said that, I'm going back to my scene, and here I want to create prefabs for all types of gear, such as the shoulders, the helmet, the swords, and so on. By the way, you have a decent amount of gear. If you type on gear, as you can see, there are some, so it's a good start. But know that you can always go on appsfresh.com and try to find more gear or create your gear yourself. Now the style is kind of like a Minecraft type of style, but a bit more evolved, in the sense that, as you can see, the main character animation is a lot more evolved. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So let's say here, as you can see in the bottom right, the animation has more points of animation that it would be on a Minecraft character or a Cross Hero character, which means that we can do more things with it. All right. Now, what I want to do is start adding items. So I'm going to click on the gear and locate, let's say, sword 1. And I'm going to click on it and take the sword-simple-1. And that's the one that's the actual object that has the mesh. And I can just drag and drop this inside of my scene. Now, as you can see, I just did it and I click here. And as you can see, the sword is just huge, it's just way too big compared to the rest of the scene. So we're going to work on that. How do we do this? Well, just click on the sword simple and work on the scale. Let's go with 0.06 on each axis, X, Y, and Z, and press enter. And now double click on it again. And as you can see, it's still a bit too big, but it's a lot closer, right? So I'm gonna make this to 0.01. Let's see if that does it. 0.01 and 0.01. All right, so I'm gonna now double click on it. And as you can see, the sword seems to have it's still a little too big, but we're already almost there. It's a long sword, so that's okay if it's big, but it might be a little too big. So that's something you want to play with so that it looks perfect. And how could you do that? Well, just play with that. Instead of 0.01, let's go with 0.06. Okay, and just copy this everywhere. Now it might be different on your computer. Now, as you can see, 0.06 seems to be okay, so that's good. But know that you may have to apply that and apply a different scale on your computer. Each computer might be different. Okay, and as you can see, that looks about correct for the size. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that here. Now I might want to have it a little bit bigger, but that will do just fine for the sake of learning. Okay, having done so, now we're going to create a prefab out of this. How do you create a prefab? Well, you guys should already know how to do that. So just in case you don't know, I'm going to do one, I'm going to do many, and then you guys can skip the lectures and go to the next one if you already know how to do that. All right, so please bear with me. I'm going to go inside of my my prefabs folder right here, my prefabs. I'm going to right click and create a new folder. So create folder, and here I'm going to put all the gear. So I'm going to call this one gear. All right, such as, shoulders, helms, swords, and so on. And inside of this, I'm going to create a new prefab. So I'm going to right click, create prefab, and I'm gonna name this one sword-simple-1. All right, and now I'm gonna just drag and drop this inside of that prefab, and here we go. Now I can just remove that sword, and every time I take this sword, I can just drag and drop it here, and as you can see, we have the sword here. Now I can drop it multiple times, and I have multiple swords. All right, okay, so now you guys know how to create prefabs, and we're gonna keep doing this for all of the other items. So I'm gonna, if you already understand what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna take all of these and create prefabs. You can already skip to the next lecture. If not, keep looking at what I do, or you can even increase the speed at which I'm doing this. All right, so I'm gonna do the sword number 2. I'm gonna click here, take the sword simple, drag and drop it here, and change the scale from 1 to 0.07. 007. Okay, I'm gonna actually that was 6, right? Yes. So I'm gonna copy this, paste it here and here. All right, and as you can see, the sword is here, and that's totally fine. I'm gonna leave it at position 000 just for the sake of having it at the right position, and create a new. I'm gonna create a new prefab out of this. But before I do so, I want to create all the items and then create a prefab. So I'm gonna do the same for the buckle. I'm gonna drag and drop the buckle, and I'm gonna put this to 0.06, right, and then buckle 2, again scaling, right, helmet, same thing. Now feel free to also try it out, you know, like make sure you try it out and ensure that the helmet fits, you know, by moving it. All right, so as you can see, I have the helmet here, and I can see if it fits or not. I can just double click on it and see. As you can see, it's a bit too small, so I'm going to need to make it bigger, right? So I'm going to go with 0.08. Let's see, and that seems to be already better. And let me drag it down. Yes, but no, not really. So 0.9. Let's see. Okay, let's go with 0.1 and see. 0.01, and paste that everywhere. Okay, so that seems to be a lot better already. So that's a good start. Now it's not perfect, as you can see on the size. It needs a little bit adjusting. And let's see now. Yep, that looks good. It actually looks a little bit too big, so you know, we could play with that by putting 0.09. But just know that or 0.8. That's how we do to make sure that it works. Okay, so that's just a bit of tweaking to make sure that we got it right. Yeah, so 0.8 is too small, so 0.9 will probably be the best. But again, you know, you can always tweak that later. You don't have to do this now, but just for the sake of you guys learning, I'm doing it here as well. Okay, so let's see. Yep, so that's too small, so I'm gonna have to go with 0.95. Let's go. Okay, and let's see if that does it. Okay, and that looks about right. There's some error, so yes, so I'm gonna have to go 0.01. That's definitely the best to go with. Okay, so that's how you do to make sure that it works. You play with the numbers and see which one fits the most. And as you can see now, that's a lot better already. There we go. All right. Okay, and there we go. We fit. It needs some adjustment still. So 0.01 might not be what I need. I might need 0.11 actually, or let's go with 0.11. So 0.11, 0.11, and that's much better. As you can see, it's totally wrapped around. Okay, perfect. So now I know from now on that that's the number that I want to use. So I'm going to use this number for everything else. Okay, so for the helmet, then let's go with the helmet 2. Okay, I can just drag and drop and change the scale number. And you know, you can always try it out by moving the helmet. So I can always take the helmet 1, move it to 000, and then take the helmet 2 and move it up and see what happens, right? So take the helmet 2, move it up, and see how it fits. Press F to zoom in, and as you can see, it looks a lot better, right? Excellent. All right, and keep moving. Helmet 3, drag and drop, and change the scale. All right, I'm gonna go faster now because it's the same thing. So shield, gonna move it. All right, and then shield 3, gonna drag and drop it and move it. Change the scale. Shield round, drag and drop, change this. All right, shoulder 1, drag and drop. Again, if you already understand what I'm doing, you know, you can already move to the next folder, the next video lecture. Here, what I want to do also is, you know, save them as prefabs. So make sure that you do that as well. Okay. All right, and we already have sword 1 and sword 2. Okay, so at this point, that's it. I have them all. What I need to do now is create the prefab. So I'm going to go inside of my prefabs folder, gear, and start making new prefabs. Right click, create prefab, and I'm gonna name this one Sword Simple 2. By the way, you don't need to rename them right away. What you can do is just drag and drop them, and you see that that's gonna take the name right away. So you can do right click, create prefab, and here, just leaving new prefab, and I should be able to just take the buckle and drag and drop it here. Let me show you. Drag and drop the buckle inside of the new prefab, and then actually didn't take the name, so I have to name it here. Okay, so buckle 2. Okay, actually yes, buckle 2. Then helmet 1. So I'm gonna take the name, right click, create prefab. So you guys should already know what I'm doing, right? Just creating prefabs. And then drag and drop helmet 1. Then helmet 2. Actually, yes, helmet 2, right click, create prefab. Almost there. Drag and drop the helmet 2 inside. Then we have the helmet 3. Okay, so drag and drop the helmet 3 inside of this. And then we have the shield as well. So I'm gonna right click, create prefab shield. I'll name it shield and drag and drop the first shield. Alright, second. Create prefab. I'm going a lot faster, so by the way, you can slow this down if I'm going too fast for you, but it's very repetitive right now, so you guys should already know what I'm doing, right? So shield 3, I believe there's a shield 2 somewhere here. Yes, shield round wood, so that would be the shield 2, so shield round wood. Alright, and then the next shield, the shield 3 prefab, I'm gonna name it shield 3. Drag and drop the shield 3. Alright, and then the shoulders, right click, create prefab, shoulder 1. By the way, for the shoulder, this is only the right shoulder, because the right and left shoulders are going to be identical. They're just going to be mirrored on the y-axis. And create the last one, the shoulder 2, prefab, shoulder 2. Alright, and drag and drop the shoulder 2 right here. Okay, so I am missing some buckles, so almost finished. Create prefab buckle 2. Drag and drop the buckle 2. Actually, it's buckle 3, I'm sorry, so it's buckle 3. Where is it? Buckle 1, buckle 2. So I guess I only have 2 buckles, or maybe I have missed one, but that's okay. I can just rename this one as buckle 1. And 2 buckles will do just fine, just for the sake of learning. I don't even need 3 buckles. And just drag and drop the buckle 1 here. Alright, so that's it. I have all my objects, and I can remove these now. I can just click on all of them. And without the man, obviously, so only the objects, and remove the object by right click and click on delete. Alright, so now I have all my objects. In the next lecture, we're gonna add them and just take a look at them if they have the right size. See you guys in the next lecture.